resources that have not come to us. Now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this.
That's right.
I did get placed on the wait list, but I was told that the immigrants was taking priority. See, that's a story that a lot of people don't know, and it hurt me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I understand we need to be humanitarian, but these people are, that my participants are third and fourth generation Chicagoans, born, bred, fed, and raised here. My grandmother, Mayrella Carrington, rest in peace, always said, Craig, charity starts at home first, and then it go abroad.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have.
Many of these migrants have been dumped in our neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling people,
that big
you don't have to
library
move.
coming to wipe
If you
you out.
sell, they gonna come in. If we don't sell, we gotta stand strong and go.
That's right. We just getting started.
Somebody. It's gonna be a long summer, man.
It amazes me how after all these years of political power that black people, for the most part, had amassed with the help of our black political leaders. It amazes me how in 2023 we have put ourselves in a position in which we no longer have any influence when it comes to the political spectrum of America. Now, when you look at the screen, or you look at the photo here, I have two photos. I have one on the left side, Barack Obama, the former president, Barack Obama. And I have on the right, Dr. Umar Johnson. And you know, I did a video several weeks ago about Dr. Umar Johnson. Well, the video wasn't specifically about him. The video was more in a sense about the mentality and the structure of these pro-blacks on how they operate. And I mentioned in that video that pro-blacks, they use the same strategy that the Democratic Party uses when it comes to you Negroes. You know, the Democratic Party, what they always do, and they still do to this day, is they'll find events that's going on in America, and they'll find some way to spin a narrative of racism. And the reason why they do that is because they know that black people, for the most part, are emotional creatures. So when they find these stories and they change these narratives to push out a system of racism, they know they're doing it to make you think that you are a victim. And the reason why they make you think that way is because what they'll do is they'll tell you that, you know, racism is your biggest enemy. But here in the Democratic Party, we have a way of helping you. We have a way of protecting you from the evils of racism. And then what y'all do is you'll go out there and you'll go to these polls, these voting stations, and you'll vote for the Democratic Party because you believe that they have a system in place that's going to protect you from racism. And then when it comes down to the pro-blacks, it's damn near the same strategy. They'll go out there and they'll also push racism. They'll push out white supremacy. But they're only doing it because their main objective is to make money. Now, why am I saying all this? The reason I'm saying this is because, again, for the most part, black people have fallen under the belief that white supremacy is their biggest enemy. And what you have done is you have put yourselves in a position in which you have eliminated, you have forfeited every ounce of political influence that you had prior to. Now, in the second video, you'll see a large number of our black youth running around Chicago with no guidance. They're running around, they're hanging out in areas, destroying shit, acting like a plumb fucking fool, just being all chaotic. They have no guidance. And the reason why they have no guidance is because for you have to understand, the adults, the same people who are eligible to vote, have set these kids up for failure. Y'all have voted for a political party that has taken trades out your schools. Y'all have voted for a political party that have taken funding out your schools to where your children are going to schools that are dilapidated. They're going to school and they're holding textbooks that's outdated. They're going to these schools where they have rules set in place in which you will have children putting their hands on teachers, interrupting classes, and it's causing those teachers to half-ass on their job, because you have to understand, Going to those schools like in Chicago, schools like some schools in Georgia, you know, those schools where it's predominantly black. Going as a teacher, going to those type of schools are like going to Iraq, like going to Afghanistan. They're like war zones. So instead of those teachers going to school and they got their mindset on teaching, they're going to school with the mindset of defensiveness. And it's this political party that you give over 90% of your vote. They're the ones who have created this. You know, this is the same political party that decades ago told the black woman, you don't need no man in the house. If you need some help maintaining that house, we will come in and help you out. And what these women did at that time is they pushed these men away from the homes. Now you have 80% of these kids being born in single parent households. They're being raised in single parent households. They got you women thinking that y'all can do both a woman and a man's job. And it's been shown time and time and time again that you can't. And now we in a position. Now we are at a position right now in which majority of the men in the black community are no longer men. In 2023, you have more men my age who think like women, because the men my age were raised by single mothers. So when you look at the ratio between masculine and effeminate men in the black community, you have more effeminate men than masculine men. In other words, you have no leaders in the community. Your leader has now been labeled as the Democratic Party. That has been your leader for decades now. I mean, I can go on and on how the Democratic Party has destroyed the black community. But my point in this video, or the main topic of this video, is about the migrants coming into the United States. Because you have black people who are now asking the question, why is the Democratic Party, why is the government putting these immigrants into their communities? Now you want to ask questions that you should have been asking years ago. You asking questions that if you would have asked these questions years ago, you could have actually been taken somewhat seriously. Because now the Democratic Party, you complaining about the immigrants living in your communities, it's going in one ear, not the other now. The Democratic Party don't even care. And the reason why they don't care, because you have no political influence. You just don't. You forfeited that throughout the years, Throughout the years when you've been voting for this political party has been slowly taking away your influence. You're no longer a factor when it comes down to voting. I'm sorry. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that is the truth. The Republican Party has shown that time and time again, where they can still win elections without your vote. Hell, at this point, I'm starting to believe that Barack Obama, he was able to win his first and second election without your vote. Even though y'all voted over 90%, he really didn't need y'all vote. He could have still won the election. I'm starting to believe that. Because the Democratic Party, they're not a dumb party. They're not dumb. They were able to see the Republican Party do it. They were able to see the Republican Party run for office, and without having 50% of your vote, they were still able to win those elections. Democrats noticed that. But what they do is they get this guy to run for office back in 2008 and then again in 2012, and then yet because he won both elections, they make y'all believe that your vote is what did it. Your vote is what put him over the top. They were able to do that. They were able to make you believe that you were still a factor in the political spectrum of America. But apparently it wasn't, because if you've been paying attention, once Barack Obama's 8 years was completely up and then he left, a lot of y'all still don't seem to know that he didn't do anything for you. And the reason why he didn't do anything for you is because your vote didn't matter in the first place. And you still got Negroes out here beefing this dude up like he was the best thing since sliced bread. And then when the Democratic Party realized that they can use that to gain more power and also take away the political power that you had left, they started using that same model in state elections, local elections, and also in midterm elections. What they did is when they realized that they could sit there and make you think that you still had an influence by putting Barack Obama in office, they decided not to stop there. What they decided to do is start putting more black people in mayor positions. They started putting more black people in city council positions to make you think, to make you Negroes think that yeah, you still have some type of major influence in the political arena. They started putting black people in, and they put a black woman. Not only being a black woman, but she was also married to another woman, because she was able to check both boxes, and because they knew that you, for the most part, as the black community, y'all going to accept her because, for number one, she's a black woman, and for number two, y'all are the main group of people who are acceptive of this so-called alphabet community, because at the end of the day, you weren't like that before. You were not, for the most part, black people were against the alphabet community. But when your first black president said he was supportive of it, well, y'all followed suit. And because y'all followed suit, you became the main group of people that supported it. So you have a woman that's black, and then she's also part of that community. And she was able to become the mayor of Chicago. And then once she was put in that position, the Democratic Party, they went to town. They pretty much ran amok within your city of Chicago. They did everything they wanted to do, and all they had to do was hide behind that mayor, the same way they hid behind the first black president. Now y'all are sitting there complaining about migrants being pushed into your communities. And y'all, again, y'all are so late because y'all don't realize that because of you forfeiting your every ounce of your influence, you're no longer a factor. They don't care what you think. They are going to continue pushing these immigrants in your communities. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to push them in your communities. They're going to fund them. And these immigrants, they're going to take that funding and they're going to start putting it together as a group. And they are going to do what you have never done. They are going to revitalize those communities, but they're going to do it in their own terms. They're going to do what is called regentrification in those communities, but they're only going to do it in their own terms. And in those terms, what they're going to do is they're going to share resources amongst their own. They're going to do like every other immigrant in California and in New York and other places have done. They're going to take over those areas that's highly populated with black people, and they're going to push y'all out. They're going to push y'all out, and they're going to clean those areas up. They're not going nowhere. So when y'all over here sitting in front of these people, like these city council members and these representatives, and you got the mic in your hand, yelling at the mic, and you know you're yelling at them, and you telling them how you disagree with what they're doing. This going in one ear, not the other. It's done. You're a day late, a dollar short. Those are questions you should have asked decades ago. I mean, it's already been talked about. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Angry Man. Because I watch a lot of Angry Man videos. I watch a lot of his live shows. And he's real knowledgeable when it comes to politics and how it affects the black community. So I'm gonna give a shout out to him because what I'm about to say, I got it from him. But I remember on one show when he mentioned that by 2030 or 2040, and I could be off, but he said that within that time, it's already been talked about that black people, black families, for the most part, are going to have a net income of zero. Zero. Now you tell me where in America where you could be in a position in which you have no money, but you have influence. I really want to know this. Where in America where you can have no money, You have no assets. But yet you can walk up to somebody, or you can walk up to a place and dictate what you want to happen, and they're gonna listen. And again, it's he said it on his show. Black people, for the most part, is going to have a net income of zero by 2030, 2040. Again, my years might be off. I think it's like 2030, 2040, maybe 2050, but it's close. I'll put it that way. And if it's that close, then that means that as of right now, that design is already in place. So in other words, as of right now, you have no political power. Again, the Republican Party have shown you that time and time. Politicians can win elections without your vote. And the reason why they're able to do that, because you have voted for a political party that has gotten to your face and tell you that you're a victim of white supremacy, a victim of racism, and you believed it. And at the same time, they told you that they are the political party that can fix that. They can protect you from that. And you fell for it. And when you went out there and you voted for them, what they had give you stuff that you would think that meant something, but behind the schemes, it wasn't anything. And while they sat there and they gave you what you wanted, they also created policies in which they were taking away from you. They were taking things away from you. They were taking power away from you. Oh, you want free housing? We'll give you free housing. But this was going to have to happen. But see, they didn't tell you what has to happen. They just told you that they're going to give you free housing. And you, oh yes, so yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. And y'all took it. And when y'all took that free housing, next thing you know, man, we're getting kicked out the homes. See, they didn't tell you they were going to do that. But once you sign on a dotted line and you was willing to accept that free housing, those food entitlements, and all the other stuff that the government gives you, slowly but surely, the man started being replaced. Then you got these pro-blacks coming in on the other side, and they're also pushing out that white supremacist narrative. And then when they did that, the Democratic Party pretty much had all their corners covered. They're like, we'll have some politicians set on that corner. We'll have some politicians set in that corner. And the other side, we'll just let these pro-blacks control those corners. But either way it goes, those black people are surrounded by two groups that's going to push out a narrative of white supremacy. And that's all we need. That's all we need to take away the little power that they have left. Now y'all are out there in 2023 yelling at these politicians because you have migrants coming in and taking over, and they're moving into these schools that you helped remove your kids from. Y'all are done. It's over with. It is over with. I'm telling you, man, with this Title 42 expired, they're going to let more immigrants in. And when they let them in, they're going to continue to push those immigrants into communities that are predominantly black. And then what they're going to do is they're going to cut funding. That they're going to give money to these immigrants, and these immigrants are going to get together, and they're going to get together, and they're going to share their resources amongst each other. And the next thing you know, they're going to revitalize those communities, while at the same time pushing you Negroes out of them. Y'all played yourselves, because now if you want black men to come out there and start leading, it's too late. You should have thought about that decades ago when black men were actually masculine enough to lead. But over time, you raise these boys to be effeminate, and then you showed a high level of disregard to black men, to where a lot of these masculine men, they pushed away from you. You pushed them away from them. They're going. They're going. So if you're out there, you want black men to come out there and fix the communities and lead, it's too late. It's too late physically, and it's too late mentally. These Democrats got you exactly where they want you. And again, I'm gonna give a shout out to Angry Man, because he also mentioned this in one of his shows, that it's only a matter of time in which not only you're gonna have a net income of zero, but that's gonna put you in a classification of being serfs. Not slaves, but serfs. And when you stand back and you watch what's going on between the black community and how it's being controlled by the Democratic Party, you're going to say to yourself, God damn it, Angry Man, and the resources that he got the information from is accurate. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Share the video, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.